another dominant performance against Montreal. 3-0, controlled the game, barely gave them a sniff. Bahamas, Molina, and Green on the score sheet, and James Robinson ran the show in midfield. Koulibaly barely had to work. But now, it's Leagues Cup knockout time, New England in the East quarter final. They're always a tough test, but if we keep up this control and efficiency, I like our chances. Let's get it done.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 69 of Red Bull KloppBot here on Sean Does FM with the New York Red Bulls. I hope you're doing one come a day. We've got the Leagues Cup East quarter final where we take on the New England Revolution, first versus ninth from the Eastern Conference in the MLS, and fingers crossed we can beat those guys and make our way forward to a semi-final in that Leagues Cup. Otherwise, we'll skip forward a couple of weeks and take on the San Jose Earthquakes in our US Open Cup semi-final instead. But this is the first episode I'm recording off the back of the FM24 cancellation. So a quick bit of admin off the back of that. It did just happen a day ago in real life when I'm recording this. Obviously, that's a Saturday New Zealand time. This comes out on a Tuesday. Unfortunately, not getting a game because of issues with the whole Unity switchover. It does sound like mainly it was with the actual UI and not the match engine, which I suppose makes sense considering you do spend a lot of time in Football Manager in these menus here instead of in the match itself. But it does mean we need to find another save off the back of this one, because I dare say this might be our last season, or at least for one, of this save. Getting a little bit sick of having to run every single transfer and trade through the KloppBot, especially as it does tend to get a bit slow the older that the KloppBots do go on at each of the clubs in game. So let me just switch over here to YouTube instead of Football Manager over on the post tab, or it could be community for you guys. Not too sure what it will be, but there is a poll. Obviously, it might look a little bit different when you guys see it, considering I've done this a couple of days ago, and there's some options here for new saves that you can vote for. Looks like at the moment you don't want to see me play another game like tennis or F1 Manager, Cricket Captain, or MLB The Show. So it looks like you guys want another FM24 save at the moment. We could do a journeyman just like we were going to do when FM25 did come out. We're probably still going to do one when we eventually get FM26, but that'll be a bit different, obviously, with women's football being added to the game. But a journeyman, we'll just probably do it from the base game. No added leagues like New Zealand we had for the Builder Nation. Don't think we need to go back there off the back of the amount of time we did spend there for that save. Barnsley Celtic's a bit of an English lower league saver team in the Vanarama National League. They've been struggling and were featured recently in an Away Days episode. The person in charge of that club has absolutely tried to run them into the mud with no home ground. So I thought that might be a little bit of an interesting English lower league save, a bit of a road to glory with those guys. And also a youth only save. To be fair, we'll have to figure out what club we actually do that one with, but a youth only save as well. Or if you go down to the comments, I have asked people to leave some suggestions down there. For example, this one, an Arctic Circle save with Alta in the Norwegian third tier. If you do like the idea of that one, just leave a thumbs up and I'll count that as a vote as well. So that's how we're going to decide what our new save is here on the channel. If there's a draw, I guess I'm going to have to do another poll. But go over there to the post tab and you should be able to vote on that one if you want to say and what we do next here on the YouTube channel. Because as I said, just getting a little bit sick of running everything by the KloppBot. Did seem like a good idea at the time, but it was only supposed to last us until March when FM25 came out. And to be fair, we've already won a Champions League in this save, so I dare say this one won't last too much longer. But fingers crossed before then we can pick up some trophies here at the New York Red Bulls, and off the back of yesterday's episode where we did get through the group stage of the Leagues Cup, and also had the MLS All-Stars game. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. We did still finish top of our group despite the fact that Montreal did beat us on penalties in our second group stage game, but thankfully got some revenge on those guys a few days later in the MLS. A 3-0 win did take this game a bit more seriously, staying the likes of Leroy Sané, and picked up a 3-0 win goaler in the first half to Birchmus from left wing. In the second half, Molina, who of course was on the bench for that All-Stars game, but we didn't use him, seeing as that All-Stars game didn't go very well. And Brian Green, a young striker who we called up from our B team for this game, also chipped in with a goal late in the end. We pick up the a 3-0 win, making up those drop points somewhat there in the Leagues Cup. But to be fair, that didn't hurt us too much considering we still topped our group. So it does mean in terms of the MLS, in a ridiculously strong position. We're 16 points clear of Orlando, and even they have more points than the top team in the Western Conference. So you'd like to think We should get a supporters shield here this season at the New York Red Bulls. Fingers crossed we can then go on and do a decent job in the MLS Cup. But today we focus on the Cup competitions, and we start with clash here in the quarterfinals of the east side of the Leagues Cup, where we do take on the New England Revolution. This is a team so far this season we've done pretty well against up until the last time we took them on, where they did push us quite close. I believe that was back in an MLS game indeed at the end of June. A 2-1 win, a really late winner there from Leroy Sané. Before then, though, had taken them on in the fourth round of the US Open Cup, beat them quite comfortably 3-0, and I think also might have played them earlier in the season. In fact, no, so I've only played them twice here this season. A comfy winner, but then a bit closer in the MLS. So fingers crossed we can go back to what we did to them here in that US Open Cup and pick up a comfy win and make our way forward to a semi-final, where we would, once we go down to the east, take on Santos Laguna from Mexico. Monterrey also in our section here in the Leagues Cup. We could take them on in the final if we make it that far, and it'll be interesting as they did win the Champions League here in CONCACAF earlier this season. So to be fair, if we get past New England, we should start to get some tougher matchups here once we take on those teams from Mexico. But first up, we do need to get past the Revolution. As we mentioned earlier, they're just inside of a playoff spot, but they are 31 points behind us on the MLS table. So based on that, this should really be a game that we are winning. Not too sure why though. They have the home advantage considering that we topped our group. You would have thought topping your group would give you a home quarterfinal here in a cup competition, but apparently that is not the case. But in the group stage, they lost to Atlanta, but then beat Pachuca. So it does seem like here for some reason, the team that finished second in the group, we'll just double check and make sure that was the case. Indeed it was. They get home advantage, which is a little bit weird, but fingers crossed here we can pick up a win in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and make our way through to the quarterfinals and start taking on some Mexican teams here in the Leagues Cup. I'm pretty sure only a couple of episodes ago when we took these guys on in the US Open Cup, we had a quick look at their key players and their vice captain and captain, so I don't think we need to do any of that. But it should be a team that we are beating here first up in today's episode. In terms of us, thankfully, only a couple of injuries. Zhao Hongyu sprained ankle ligaments. To be fair, he's a second/third choice right winger, so that doesn't impact us too much, but he's currently out for a couple of weeks with that injury. More importantly, we are missing Gabriel Pirani with an abdominal strain for 3 to 7 days. So that one does hurt just a little bit. Our first choice box-to-box midfielder, a little bit of a drop-off to Daniel Edelman, but to be fair, he's done a decent job for us when called upon so far in this save. So hopefully that absence won't hurt us too much here in this upcoming game, but also have quite a few players who come to this one on a heavy workload. So it does mean those players who are very injury prone will get a rest. So that does include Berchamus. We're going to give Vidislavic here a start at left wing, seeing as he's only on a medium workload. Bercham has been in great form recently. That's why MV has been sitting on the bench instead of starting for us. And also, we've dropped Leroy Sané in great form, but very, very injury prone for James Robinson. So as you can see, quite a few players there on a heavy workload, but to be fair, all of those who have been picked, it says, are not too injury susceptible. So fingers crossed here, despite our boys being tired, we can pick up a win as you'd expect here against the team well below us in the Eastern Conference and make our way through to the semis of this Leagues Cup in the East section. But this is our first time on camera going to Gillette Stadium to take on the New England Revolution. So before we get stuck into this one, it's time to check out the KloppBot's hotspots. As we do, we start off with accommodation here for our trip to Foxborough, Massachusetts, not too far away from Boston, obviously, with this being the New England Revolution. We're going to stay here at the top of the accommodation options because it was the only 4-star one, and to be fair, all of them had pretty similar reviews. So we're going to stay here at the Renaissance Boston Patriot Place Hotel, located adjacent to Gillette Stadium. So to be fair, very close to the ground itself. This 4-diamond rated hotel offers modern amenities, including a fitness centre and indoor pool, providing convenience and comfort for our team. So we're going to check out here the website for this place. Here's what it looks like. It does look quite nice, as mentioned before. Very close to Gillette Stadium. There's a quick look at one of the rooms. It does look pretty tidy, and there's a fair bit of room there to do some other stuff if we need to. Looks like also a decent sized TV, and there you can see a little outdoor area there in the hotel with a great view of Gillette Stadium as well. So to be fair, this looks like it should be an ideal location for us here for our trip to take on the Revolution. Going down a bit further, a quick look at all the different rooms that they do have on offer. Apparently there's 8 of them. One of the guest rooms there with a very very nice view of Gillette Stadium. Also, there's some concierge levels and just some guest rooms. To be fair, not too many options it looks like there in terms of the room types, but indeed, oh so close to where we're staying. Obviously, that's probably one of the reasons the KloppBot has recommended this place, as well as the fact that it is a 4-star hotel. You can see there they've got a decent sort of bar restaurant there that we can make the most of as well, a fitness centre, an indoor pool, and some other stuff as well. So that's where we're going to be staying here for our trip for this big Leagues Cup quarterfinal clash. Now going down to check out the activities, and it's a little bit of classic KloppBot. First up, we've got team building scavenger hunt with cash hunt, which I'm pretty sure is the actual outfit who runs this. We're going to engage our team in a customized scavenger hunt experience at Patriot Place. This activity promotes teamwork, communication, and problem solving skills in a fun and interactive environment. Good old scavenger hunts, we all know the KloppBot does love those. Here's the website for this place. To be fair, it does look a little bit dodgy, honestly, this website, with the animations that they are using, but they actually do have some real photos once you make your way down a little bit further. But honestly, it's just going to be another scavenger hunt. So we'll just check out here what we are doing in the actual area that we are going to, considering we're in New England, so I'm pretty sure that counts as Boston. Indeed, I think that's the case. There you can see there the Mad Dash series. No idea what's going on there, but apparently these scavenger hunts will take place within and around historic Boston, a 2-hour city hunt game experience, and great for all types of gatherings. So fingers crossed this does go quite well. You can see a bit more information about what you do actually do. But it's a good old scavenger hunt. We are so used to these with the KloppBot, so hopefully that's a good way to start our time here in Boston. Off the back of that, something a bit more entertaining, I dare say, some bowling and general entertainment at the House Splitsville. To be fair, brilliant name for a bowling centre. We're going to enjoy luxury bowling lanes combined with live music, located within Patriot Place. Yet again, this venue is ideal for team bonding and relaxation before the game. So fingers crossed here, our guys do enjoy it. But the bowling, there's a quick look at the place itself. It does look like this place also is very close to Gillette Stadium. Can't actually see if that is Gillette Stadium, but you'd imagine that is the case because that outside stand there does look pretty similar to the sort of view we saw before from our hotel. There you can see some bowling balls with New England Patriot logos on them. Also going down further, it can be used as a party venue. They've got live music, they've got golf suites, they've got all sorts of stuff. So a bit of bowling, a bit of entertainment, also probably a bit of food as well there as we do go to Splitsville. And off the back of that, the last activity for our trip to New England is another bit of a KloppBot favourite. We're going to do some laser tag and arcade games at Extreme Craze. Participate in high energy laser tag sessions a la Barney Stinson, and also enjoy a variety of arcade games. This activity offers an exciting way for the team to unwind and build camaraderie. So a lot of activity for us here when we do spend our time in New England, but hopefully won't tire us out too much before we get stuck in to this quarterfinal. Here's the website. You can see there, obviously I'm recording this a couple of days before the Super Bowl did take place, but these days the Pats suck with no Tom Brady. Here's laser tag, so we can check out what's going on here. Apparently some world-class laser tag, whatever that does mean. Obviously lots of different ways here that you can play, but it's going to be laser tag, pretty similar wherever you go. And also they've got an air parks, they've got a game zone. Let's check out what they've got there if we can. There you can see they've got all sorts: Space Invaders, Jurassic Park, Monster Drop, all the good old classics. So we're going to be going there for our last bit of activity before this game in New England, and hopefully can pick up a win and make our way through to a semi-final against Santos Laguna. And here are the team sheets for this Eastern Leagues Cup quarterfinal. First up, New England, the home team. To be fair, their recent form actually being quite good, and they are also going with a 4-3-3. Here is ours. A couple of changes as you saw before. In midfield, Edelman comes in for the injured Pirani, and Robinson for Sane, who is very, very injury prone. Can use him off the bench if we need to, but fingers crossed we won't, considering how far ahead of these guys we are in the Eastern Conference. And it takes a wee while for the first highlight of this game, just past the 20-minute mark here. It's a throw from New England just inside of their own half. But so far this game's been very quiet. Don't think either team have actually hit a shot so far, but New England here are on the ball forming this first highlight. DiPietro plays that one for there to Luna. Just makes his way inside the box now. Shot there from outside it from Joaquin Halez, and somehow that one beats Bemba Koulibaly. So unfortunately, we go 1-0 down there from that first highlight, and hopefully won't get upset here yet again in the quarterfinals of this Leagues Cup. To be fair, this be even worse than last year, because at least then we got beaten by a Mexican team, but that, not good work there from KloppBot. It's fair to say it's a well-placed shot, but not that powerful, but they make it 1-0. We'll be off the back of that. Now we're on the attack here ourselves, so fingers crossed we can make this 1-0 pretty shortly. Play at the one in there to Julio Cesar, who now finds Zenta, who there looks to take on a shot from a tight angle. Comes off the woodwork, then Renier with a block shot. Off the back of that, we'll just cancel to make sure that Demand Moore doesn't actually go through just yet in case it does cut out this corner, which Zenta is going to take. Fingers crossed here we can strike as we put that one far post, but unfortunately Tickbitch puts it high and wide. Now we'll demand more after going 1-0 down. And it looks like that might be all she wrote there for the first half of this game. Just those two highlights, you saw a chance for both teams. Unfortunately, despite the fact we've had more shots, both of New England's have actually been on target, and Helios did put that one away. So we're going to make a sub here at halftime. MV struggling yet again. He's currently a squad player, which is not ideal for one of our internationals, considering how good he looked when we signed him last season. So Berchamus can come off the bench despite the fact that he is on a heavy workload, which is the one sub there, 1-0 down at halftime. And now Zanotti picks up an early yellow card here in the second half. Garcia on the bench because aren't we another player on a heavy workload? So Garcia on it right back early in the second half as we're still 1-0 down. And only a few minutes off back of that sub there at right back, and also that one before at halftime. Now there's a throw in for us here just inside of the New England half. Garcia makes his way forward, puts that one into the mixer. Unfortunately, that ball a bit too deep. We do get a chance there to control things, but unfortunately, Zenta there did head that one straight back to a New England player. Now it goes back there to Tickbitch, who takes his time on the ball before picking out Berchamus. He links up nicely there with Zenta and now starts to get on the attack. Fabinho there on a yellow card with a tackle on Robinson. We'll see if this still gets held up though as a penalty, because the referee is running over to his little screen. Not too sure if this is actually check if it's the penalty or maybe a red card for the New England player, with this potentially being his second yellow. So wait and see here what's going on. Indeed, a penalty has been awarded, but there is no second yellow cards. To be fair, bit of a waste of time there, that VAR check. But Renier here with a brilliant chance to put us back at 1-1, and the goalkeeper comes up with a save. So that's really bad for us there. A chance to get this back to all square early in the second half. We don't take it. Unfortunately, we're bumbling things here from this corner, but thankfully do keep hold of the ball. But the highlight then does come to an end. Renier all the way down to a 6.1. Also Molina on a 6.4. So I think he might be a good time to make some more subs. We'll bring on here Halsawi at right wing, and also let's bring on Vera up front as we're still 1-0 down off the back of that penalty miss. And we're just about to make our way into the last 15 minutes of this game. No highlights since that penalty miss here. We are still 1-0 down, so on the verge here of getting knocked out yet again in the quarterfinals of the East section of the Leagues Cups. With that in mind, Leroy Sané, he can come on, our big signing going to this season here at the New York Red Bulls, but unfortunately still, there's been no highlights as we make our way the last 10 minutes of this game. Might almost be time for us here go a bit more attacking, albeit a corner, which we hit the post from. So unfortunately, good chance for us there off the back of that. I think it is now time for us to go attacking as we make our way into the last 5 minutes of this game. And now there's a goal kick here to New England. And it looks like we're actually going to put some quite good pressure on them as they try and take this. The goalkeeper makes a meal of a big chance here for Olvera 1-on-1. But Nicholas comes up with a massive save. He's now made 2 big saves, the penalty, and that one really, it should be 2-1. We're still 1-0 down. And then a corner where we go far post. And again, Nicholas comes up with a ridiculous save. Seriously, he's looking like prime Buffon here at the moment. Is the New England goalkeeper. We are still 1-0 down now. Berchamus will float this far post. Tickbitch again with an effort. Nicholas again comes up with a save. He's having an absolute blinder. If only Koulibaly could have pulled off a save like that for that one shot that we did see from New England. And would you believe it? We've been completely FM there in the quarterfinal of the Leagues Cup. That's just the game I wanted. First one played off the back of that FM25 cancellation. Cheers, FM24. I've got to play you now for another 8 months. That's not a good start here to our extended relationship, because we've been knocked out nice and early here of the Leagues Cup for a second straight season. And that one, probably a bit more disappointing than last year, because it's to a pretty average MLS team in the Revolution. So, pretty disappointing result for us there. First up, in today's episode, another year where we go without a Leagues Cup, so I guess that might be a reason to do one more year of the save as well as the CONCACAF Champions League. We'll see how we feel off the back of this MLS season, considering that we're kind of running away currently with that Supporters Shield. But here are the other results from our section going forward to the semi-finals. We've gone forward nearly 2 weeks off the back of that game to play this next one in the US Open Cup semis, where we take on San Jose. You can see there Atlanta got past Monterrey, and Santos Laguna, they got rid of the New England Revolution. So to be fair, we might have lost that one anyway, but it would be nice to find out and going forward a bit further to the Eastern Final, and that got won by Santos Laguna. So I suppose they deserve it, seeing as they got past the team who did beat us, and going on further the actual playoffs themselves. The semi-finals, they are about to take place. Houston, they take on Seattle, and Inter Miami, they will take on Santos Laguna. So it kind of feels like a missed opportunity for us there, considering all the other teams in the Final Four are from the MLS, and we're currently absolutely bossing that in that Supporters Shield, but unfortunately don't get the chance to off the back of that big bottle job that we pulled against San Jose. But it does mean, as you can see there, nearly a 2-week gap before the semi-final in the US Open Cup. So it does mean that all our players have recovered from some recent injuries and are fit and fresh. No excuses going into the second game of today's episode, where we do take on the San Jose Earthquakes. Now, this was a team that we did trade Ivan Pritić into in our first transfer window here at the club, or at least off the back of our first half season. Unfortunately, though, he's injured out for 2 months, so no chance here to play against one of our former New York Red Bulls. But San Jose, just like New England team, going pretty fairly in the MLS this season. They're down 11th, and also in the weaker conference in the West. So you'd like to think this is a team that we can get past. It looks like they didn't make their way out of the group, only picking up a couple of points from a penalty win over one of the Mexican teams off the back of a loss to LAFC, albeit they did beat St. Louis in the only MLS game off the back of that group stage of the Leagues Cup. So fingers crossed here that we can pick up a win based on that form before them. But it does look like they might be a team who are on the improve. Their captain, Sergei Belkarov, an American right winger who does look half decent, but is injured. So we're going to skip over him. Their vice captain, Carlos Gudezo, an Ecuadorian defensive midfielder. I guess he's being picked there for his experience as a vice captain, because honestly, he doesn't look too good with that 2-star current ability and potential, albeit he does have a couple of yellow attributes in the mentals, and also his natural fitness. So definitely can still run around a bit. But their key player, Ezequiel Barco from Argentina, 31 years old, and he looks like a bit of an upgrade on those prior two, with 3.5-star current ability and potential and quite well-rounded attributes. So it's fair to say he's the guy we need to keep an eye on in this upcoming game. The former Atlanta United man who also spent some time at River Plate, Spartak Moscow, as well as Palmeiras. But it should be a team that we can handle and hopefully make our way through to at least one cup final this season in the US Open Cup. And here are the team sheets for this US Open Cup semi-final. As I said, we've got back to a much fresher team going to this one with that 2-week gap, so it does mean our overall best 11 Pirani and Sane back, and also we've got their Birchamus starting over MV. Because of recent form, there are San Jose going with a 4-4-2 back at the Red Bull Arena. Fingers crossed here we can pick up a win and take on one with Charlotte FC or the Tampa Bay Rowdies in this US Open Cup final. It might be a chance for us here to get off to a good start with a corner go near post. It goes back to Tikvich, who finds Birchmus before going out there to Renier. Can he score early off the back of that penalty miss in the previous game? That one comes off the woodwork, still 0-0. And just past the 10-minute mark here, we've got another corner here in our favour. Early stages on the front foot, albeit Zenta there with a poor pass. San Jose can clear it away, but thankfully get that one back there through Zenta relatively quickly. Now some good short passing here just outside the box, just waiting here for some gaps to open, and Zenta starts to make his way forward, floats that one far post there for Renier, who this time can hit the target. That makes it 1-0 off here to a good start. If only we did that in that previous game in the Leagues Cup, but thankfully might be on here for a little bit of a bounce back, as you'd probably expect considering that big gap that we have had since we did play our last game. But Renier there just sneaks that one inside that far post past their goalkeeper to make it 1-0 to the Red Bulls, albeit right off the back of that, there is a highlight from the restart. So fingers crossed here that San Jose don't get a chance to make it 1-1 immediately, because so far here at the Red Bulls, despite the fact that we're quite dominant in a lot of our games, we are still quite leaky when the opposition do get a shot on target. Barco there somehow does get played in behind, And speak of the devil, I think I've manifested that. It's 1-1 right off the back of that opening goal. We scored a simple ball over the top here. Ruiz kind of did draw in an extra one of our defenders. Fernandes Markel there with a lovely ball over the top, and for some reason, between Zanotti there and Wisdom Ami, Barco just weaves his way through the middle and beats Koulibaly and makes it 1-1. And just on the 20-minute mark here, a chance for us to fight back here from a free kick and get back in front. And thankfully, Wisdami gets only that ball floated far post there from Leroy Sané. But if that one did look like it went pretty much straight at the goalkeeper, but thankfully makes its way into the back net, and we are back in front 2-1. So thankfully, not 1-1 here for long. Yeah, the goalkeeper there with an interesting save animation, but thankfully we make the most of it and make it 2-1. Only a few minutes later, another chance for us here from a set piece. It goes out there, Tikvich with a bicycle kick, but it's weak as anything, and it's still 2-1. And just a few minutes shy of half-time, we'll go to another corner here in our favour, looking near post there for Ami. Unfortunately, can't find him, but he gets that ball back for us. Some good short passing, and Aaron Zenta will rocket that one just inside that left-hand upright. That makes it 3-1, the slowest knee slide that you've ever seen, but to be fair, he was still moving, and that gives us a cushion goal lead finally here in this game. Ami gets that ball back for us before going out to Zenta. Good 1-2 between him and Berchamis. And that one, I think it's a touch there from the San Jose goalkeeper, but thankfully still makes its way into the back of the net. And we should go into half-time here with a 3-1 lead. So Notty at right back, going a bit fairly on a 6.4. So I think just one sub needed here at half-time. We'll take him off, or aren't we on the bench today, seeing as he's also recovered from that heavy workload that he was on going into that previous game. But pretty happy with that first half. A little bit frustrating to concede the only shot on target, but still looking pretty good here to make the final of this US Open Cup with a 3-1 lead. And a couple of seconds into the second half, nearly a chance for us here with a Leroy Sané free kick. He put one of these well over the bar in the first half. That one goes a lot closer. It comes off the woodwork, but unfortunately can't quite make its way to a situation where we can bundle that one home. So still 3-1 here early in the second half, and now it is San Jose with a chance to get on the ball here from a throw, and they just do enough there to keep hold of it. Did feel like there a chance for us to win that ball back. Zenta there with an interesting header in field, unfortunately gives a chance there for San Jose to get that ball back. So currently San Jose here are just doing enough to keep hold of the ball, albeit aren't advancing a heck of a lot now. Anderson is on the ball. Berchamis finally gets it back for us now. Zenta will find Leroy Sané out there to Renier down our right-hand side. He just pulls that one in there for Gabriel Pirani back in the team, back from injury, and he puts that one away in the bottom left corner. And really, that should be the goal which seals our spot in the US Open Cup final as we're 4-1 in front with just under 45 minutes left. It'll take a big bottle job from us here to not be pulling out a winner in this game. It's been a much better performance than we saw in that quarterfinal of the Leagues Cup as we make it 4-1. And only a few minutes on from that fourth goal, now it's another throw for us here inside of the final third. Molina there gets brought down from behind, and apparently no VAR here in the US Open Cup. So it's going to be a chance for us here to make it 5-1 through Leroy Sané, who rockets that one into the top right corner. I think we desperately missed him in that previous game, but of course he was very injury prone. So I think it was the right idea to not start him in that game, but unfortunately he's shown there Renier how to take a penalty, and that makes it 5-1. That definitely should be game over. Only 10 minutes into the second half, and right off the back of that, now we've got a corner here which Renier will put near post, and Pirani will get himself on a hat-trick. That's a good header from him into the top left corner to make it 6-1, and San Jose, after striking back right off the back of our first goal, have been left behind ever since. Good effort that one. Lots of players at the near post. Thankfully, Pirani can put that one home, and we're ahead by 5 goals. And just about to make our way into the last 5 minutes of this game, we do have a late highlight here. A free kick to Julio Cesar. Have made a bunch of subs about 10 minutes ago, and a decent save there too from the goalkeeper from San Jose, but took off any players who tend to be a bit injury prone here in this Red Bull squad, and also some players who were not quite on a full green rain. Conceded down the bottom, the players that we did take off, of course, only that one sub before at right back of aren't we? But on the attack yet again here, through Berchamis puts that one far post there for MV, who did come on for Renier at right wing. Unfortunately, can't quite target. Berchamis again having an absolute great game. So at the moment, Berchamis is keeping that first choice spot over MV at left wing, and I dare say that it'll continue for the foreseeable future with that performance as we pick up a 6-1 win. A little bit nervy when Barco did equaliser off the back of that Renier opener, but thankfully only a few minutes after that, Wisden Ami made it 2-1, and then an absolute blitz either side of half-time to make it 6-1, and we pick up a very, very comfortable win to see us go through to a US Open Cup final. Not too sure yet who that will be against, so I'll go forward and see who we're going to be playing for our first bit of silverware here at the New York Red Bulls. So at least we make our way through to one final here in those cup competitions this season here with the New York Red Bulls. You can see that will be against the fellow MLS team. Unfortunately, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, their fairy tale run, the USL team, does get brought to an end in a penalty shootout by Charlotte FC. So that's who we're going to be taking on in the US Open Cup final, which I dare say is what we might come back for in tomorrow's episode. But finally, a chance for us here to pick up our first bit of silverware with the Red Bulls in that US Open Cup. But I think that will do it for today's episode. Unfortunately, that big FM there from New England in that Leagues Cup quarterfinal, but thankfully bounced back there in that semi of the US Open Cup. If you enjoyed today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. As I said, we'll probably come back tomorrow in about a month or so's time for that US Open Cup final. We'll just see if anything else interesting might be happening around then. And indeed, we've got the Chicago Fire, who to be fair these days aren't quite second in our conference, but still, they've been one of the better teams in behind us so far in the East. So I dare say we'll come back for that. It does mean we will skip a Hudson River derby in a couple of games' time, but to be fair, we've dominated that rivalry so far. I think we can skip one and look forward to that Open Cup final, especially considering how big a gap we do have on top of the MLS. So I dare say the quicker we make our way through the playoffs, the better, as it would take a massive bottle job for us to not pick up that Supporters Shield. But until tomorrow for our first cup final here with the New York Red Bulls, and hopefully as well a game against Chicago, unless we actually wrap up the Supporters Shield before then. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.